Aurelion, Sol, Rise, and Camille. Seems like yesterday when they banned 3 mid laners, it was more of a targeted thing. So Rise is the only must ban, and then there's 2 targeted bans here. It looks like red side has mandatory bans. Looks like they have to ban Azir, Talia, Zoe, more or less, because those are matched in the previous game as well. Gangplank first pick. So either they were pretty scarred for that versus welcome to the team, the Big Boss AM. Thanks for the follow. Make sure to click the little notifications button so you know when I go live, because I have a very regular schedule when I'm in Finland. When I'm in Berlin, it's kind of hit and miss. And also, these are, when I do my Q&A show, it's only 30 minutes long. So it's good to know when I go live so you can hop in, ask your questions, and then it's over. Yeah, I think they might have been a little bit scarred from that versus whoever it was they lost to the other day, Solo, when Solo was playing that. I don't even know the team name at this point. There's so many new teams in the NALCS. Then we have a Kalista Sejuani rotation. I understand the Sejuani. I do not get the Kalista when Ezreal is up, but okay. Jax, Galio. Galio goes unbanned and unpicked. Maybe CLG should have gone Galio. Nope, never mind. They couldn't. Hey, the Big Boss AM, thanks for the Twitch Prime subscription. Awesome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the family. I guess you can't pick Galio first rotation in place of that Kalista, because then TSM will just pick a Corki into your Galio. So they pick Galio and no, because look, TSM's not scared of the counter pick. They don't care. Vlad gets picked. They ban Galio, Jace. Why don't CLG pick Galio here? I don't get it. Instead of the Kalista, if he's that OP. Okay, anyway, second phase, we have a Rakan and an Ornn ban, so then we go with Taric first pick, or they go with Alistar first pick. We get the Taric Ezreal bottom lane, and then a Fiora final pick. Okay, cool. I guess great. I guess sorry. I was reading a little bit of Twitch chat there. The Big Boss AM says, "Always loved your Twitter and YouTube content. This is my first time able to catch it live. Awesome, and thank you for the Twitch Prime subscription. If you guys didn't know, you can connect your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, and then you get a free sub. And it expires. It does not auto sub to channels, so it expires every month, and you can reapply it to whichever channel you want. So you can sub to my channel right now, bumping me up to 24 subs." And then you know, that would be awesome. Okay, so there's the draft. Let's go ahead and skip ahead here. All right, welcome to the game, everybody. I'm gonna speed it up a little. So here we have a standard line of defense. I don't expect the Fiora to be banned against the Galio, even though it's a counter, because it's pretty useless mid lane. Fiora's a better counter when you have to walk a little bit farther to get to the lane. And also, it's Fiora. She's not a mid laner. I mean, what's she going to do once you get to yeah, I don't know. I don't think she's great in compositions. But they do have a Vlad, so, and a Sejuani, so they do have a bit of magic damage mixed in there. Okay, red start, no scouting to speak of. And they fake a blue start on CLG. Look, they even pause, so they're faking the blue start. All right, so they're doing CLG here is doing a top to bot jungle clear, and they're going to look to gank mid or bot, win a little surprise, and then they know more or less that CLG or that TSM is clearing bot to top, so the Vladimir needs to ward at what, 340, Be careful about this. All right, that seems pretty low. This is the danger of the solo start from Sejuani. You get pretty darn low. I mean, I guess she still has one pot. Maybe she can gank? I don't know. We'll see. Jax goes buff, Raptors buff, and Crab, and puts a ward there. Goes back. Top is just so warded up. So they, yeah, if you look at this, the warding from CLG, you can see that, or from TSM, you can see that they expected Sejuani to go bot to top. And, well, look at that right there. They still ward for the top to bot. Clear. Amazing. All right, she only took one and then booked it out of there. Interesting. Why? Man, CLG threw a ton of wards in bot side jungle. Like 3 wards there from combination of Biofrost and Fiora. Or Sejuani. Alright, first recall from Sejuani. Jax had beat her to the punch. He's back out on the map. He gets his ward deep in the bot side. And then he's going to go back and hit up Raptors. Looks like the... Yeah, it does look like the camp reset after one Krug. Gangplank not doing too bad into this Vladimir, which is a surprise. I think that he's getting a clean recall here with the teleport back. He's going to be level 6 really soon. He cleanly got his Sheen. Vladimir did not get a gank, or... Vladimir wants a gank at level 6, by the way. I think is most optimal to shove it in at level 6. He should have matched recalls probably immediately because he doesn't have TP. Looks like here's Bjerg's first recall. No, he doesn't go back. Nothing to speak of the very interest. The junglers have pretty straightforward routes. This is a really long windabout gank path, but I don't know how diveable people are with the GP ulti. And that much HP in a Taric. It just seems like a non-level 6 Callista is not necessarily going to make that happen. Galio is now level 6. That's twice as terrifying now for any bot dive. I don't think they're going to bot dive without TP on the mid and the top lane. Honestly, they should focus. CLG should focus on top lane. TSM just needs to either wait for CLG to initiate an ill-advised gank, or just wait till an objective, and then just use their globals to kind of like get advantage and farm while they're taking the objective at the same exact time. I'd like to see Dragon in about 3 minutes. Okay, so Jax wants to hand off blue. Sejuani knows it and is headed over there. Fiora has already preemptively warded and used her pressure to get topside invade, so Jax put a ward there, and they see this. Alright, so they need to go, if they can, they need to go bot side, but Ezreal just recalled. Bot lane matched. I didn't see who did it first. Let me back up. Okay, it looks like CLG gets their recall off at 69 CS. And gets pretty good buy Cutlass to what are those long swords? The speed one. Okay, Hanser uses his ult to clear Ezreal and Taric back immediately after the wave, and he gets a Sheen tier buy. Mike Young's trying to get the vision on Dragon. I don't know if they want to force it now that they don't have globals. I mean, they know Vladimir's window's out. He doesn't have TP at the moment. So maybe if they go soon. This is Mithy's path. Did you guys see Mithy's path? He walks straight to mid from base, comes out through the ramp, and he's kind of meeting up with Bjergsen and Jax. They're in the river. Comes to bot. Sweep that bush. Nope. He doesn't walk into that bush. All right. Fine, they don't have lane pressure anyway, so it's kind of irrelevant. I guess Callista does pretty well into the Ezreal lane. So they've been able to keep it pushed the whole time. Maybe without a range support. It looks like Bjergsen is getting an advanced clear here. So he is going to have a roam timer now. He's probably going to take out one of those wards. That's I guess it's not really a mistake from Huhi. Can't really do anything like that when you're passing off blue. But it's a shame that for Huhi that Bjergsen gets a clean daggers. Yeah, daggers. Gets a clean recall. And Darshan is doing pretty good keeping Hanser bottled up at turret, and he forced the ult once. So that is I mean, it's not... Obviously, he should be getting one gank and then chain killing him under turret. But it doesn't look like he's been able to get the gank, and at least he's been able to blow GP's ultimate so that GP couldn't use it, you know, at the 9-minute 8:30 point for ward control in the bottom river. Anyway, Soren got another advanced clear and pushed the wave and is now able to meet up with Jax. They took the vision on the top side of the river. Not bad. He should not be letting him clear these waves. I mean, if he can, then this is kind of a pointless pick. This is why I don't like this pick. Okay. Yeah, sure. This is a counter pick, guys. Like, Bjergsen clears the wave with impunity and just gets to move at the same exact time as Huhi. That's not a counter pick. I don't know. Like, this is why he's the only person picking this champion. Because if he can just clear the wave and do what he wants like this, then what is the point of this? Anyway, this is one of the things CLG messes up, is they try to pick these lanes that don't actually function the way that they function. I mean, I don't know if it's like Bjergsen is good enough to just not take damage, or if Huhi is bad enough to not be able to keep him off of the wave. But I just saw literally 3 waves when Bjergsen was able to get the push and get a back, get a vision, press, and then essentially now he's cleared it, right? So instead of like having a back where Huhi has already cleared the wave and has shoved it into turret and is already moving, and then Bjergsen has to either back and miss a wave or back and miss a roam, like he's doing the same whatever he wants. And he can't even be canceled because frickin' Fiora is a melee champion, so he can't even cancel Bjergsen's back. All right. Now Huhi finally gets a pushed clear here, but it's because Bjergsen is not in the lane. All right, and she uses it to go back to base, and she times it with Biofrost. So here we have the opportunity to go out and push the wave and then make a TP play somewhere, but there's nowhere to make it. I guess topside? No. They don't have the push bot because Alistar already left. Biofrost went back and bought some sight wards, some vision wards. Some pink wards. Just going to go with the original name. Ooh, that was close. All right. A lot of good vision control from both sides, actually. I would like to see the line bush cleared out. I mean, this is the result of the Fiora, is that you can't necessarily... Wow, that was kind of a unfortunate ulti there. Didn't catch the minions. Hanser managed to use his ultimate again for pressure. Okay, so I think that either Hanser is getting permission to use his ultimate top lane for the lane, or it was agreed before the game that, like, okay, we're not necessarily gonna make global plays at the beginning, so you should use your ultimate to offset your lane disadvantage and go equal in farm and without dying. Okay, so he used it once for clear of a wave that looked like maybe Vladimir could dive him, and he used it again here and backed off or recalled for a buy and managed to clear the wave so that there was no chip damage on the turret, and so he would get another buy off. And I think that that's really smart when a team can do that, because basically, you want the advantage of the global once you open up the map, for sure. It's pretty useful in the early game too to threaten off dives. Which actually it probably did at least once when Reignover was in the bot side jungle. But this is the effect of the Fiora pick here, is this river control, because there's no way that they can check this right line bush, and it's pretty hard to check top river with Fiora and Bjergsen battling it out right there. Unless Mithy does a recall and gets back and walks out with Jax. All right. But if they don't use the vision, it's like pointless pressure. I don't even think they've taken a single jungle camp in their favor. Holy cow. That's freaky. All right. Good job, Mithy, getting sight on them. Looks like it was pinged and called. All right, and they know that they're going to be attempting Dragon because their bot lane just wandered off. So probably just calling to give it up. They don't have tempo at all. Yeah. Tanbeer asks, Weldon, who taught you about the game? I taught so it went like this. First, I decided if I wanted to be any kind of coach in League of Legends, I needed to be able to coach myself. So I coached myself to Diamond. That was in 2014. And then I just started watching LCK. I watched LCK straight for maybe a year without announcers or casters, and just analyzed every single thing I could about the game. But I think the real thing is that I started playing MOBAs in 2002. Jeremigo donated $6. Hope you're enjoying your stream. Love your snaps. Thank you, man. When you say that, it's a shame because I've just literally decided I wanted to quit Snapchat because they don't do anything for creators. Like, I make this amazing snap story, and there's literally no way for anybody to find it. Like, my viewership has been declining for 2 years because you have to share Snapchat outside of Snapchat. It's really so stupid. Whereas my Instagram story keeps growing. You know, just because I put out good content, people just find it. It's so lame. Anyway, maybe I do the same exact story on Snapchat and Instagram, and I always was doing Snapchat first and then Instagram. Now I'm just doing Instagram first and now Snapchat, or not Snapchat at all, but maybe I'll do Snapchat again. I don't know. Yeah, and then I started coaching. So to continue the story, after that, I started coaching CLG, and then I started coaching TSM, and then I coached G2. Basically sequentially. And so I learned a lot about the game from TSM. I taught them a lot about, the mentality of the game and the principles of the game. Like, really, I think a lot of the principles I follow in the game come from the fact that I've been playing MOBA since 2002. I started playing Dota. And I don't think the fundamentals of game theory are that different. I think very deeply about the game theory of the game and what people should do, shouldn't do. Yeah, so that's where that came from. And then I learned a ton from Mithy and G2, specifically Mithy actually, and then from TSM when I was working there. And I could never really make content about the game because I always feel obligated when I'm being paid by a team not to spread information. I should not spread my expertise, and I should not spread my any information because the team that is being coached by me is paying for that information and for my mind and for my insight, and so I should not then offer it to the world for free. But now that I purposely am not coaching a team this split, that I'm focusing on my content and my brand, I'm very excited to finally be able to make VOD reviews for the first time in 3 years, and to teach parts of the game that I know. All right. Back to the game here. Okay, yeah, so this looks like a disadvantage swap. Let me back up. The only way that TSM can break the vision out of this, so they're lucky. CLG's not doing anything with this vision control mid, right? But the only way that TSM can break out of it is by sending Mithy with Jax to, what the heck happened? To clean up the vision. But it looks like right here, CLG's backing. TSM figures it out somehow. Yeah, they ping it, so they know it. So they're matching the back. And what they're going to do, what TSM looks like they're going to do here, is they're going to do a lane swap and use GP. This is now, they have GP ulti up in a couple seconds here. And they're doing a disadvantage swap, right? So they were not able to push out bot. They weren't able to push out necessarily top. I mean, they kind of are here. That's cool. They weren't able to take bot turret, but they're going to swap into top lane, and they shouldn't necessarily win the race. It should be pretty even, right? It'll depend on the champions who wins the race. Maybe Taric does a lot more damage to turrets than Alistair does. But CLG got their back off first, so technically they have a slight advantage, right? Except TSM knows that what they're doing, so they have the advantage because they can send their jungler to be really ready to jump in on the turret, and also they have GP, which means it's impossible to dive. You cannot dive the top lane here. So normally what CLG would do here is they would just dive the top laner and then get a kill and a turret, and your top laner would just have to stay top. Like Vladimir is going to have nowhere to go here in a second because TSM is going to be here, and Hanser's just going to clear the bot lane with his ulti. So that is the advantage of this GP pick. And it might be that they send Hanser out to the turret and Galio just ults in on him. Like, they call the gambit, right? They call CLG, we're going to send Hanser to the turret and challenge you to dive him. And then we're just going to Galio ult on him with with his ulti. And here it looks like he's checking. Yep, okay. There you go. And they can't even get the turret in one wave. And so the advantage that CLG should have had, which is first turret there, they do not get it. And let's see. And they timed the Jax to show up at just the right time, and they get the first turret. So this is perfect execution from TSM of the GP pick, and knowing that they're going to do this tempo swap with the Jax arriving. And then they segue that directly into a Herald because now Vladimir has to farm the wave. And somehow Bjergsen got free from mid lane. How did this happen? All right, because they're handing over blue. Bjergsen gets to clear the wave here with impunity. Fiora can't even keep him off of it. She comes back, has to clear minions, and he immediately walks to top side, and bam. They get this Herald before the fight even commences. I was Diamond DLO before I started working for a team. No, I wasn't Diamond DLO. I was Diamond MMR. I don't think my ELO had caught up yet. Jeremigo, it is not too late to make an Instagram. It is now the platform. It is an aging platform. The platform is aging up very rapidly. Okay, Hanser gets a clear here, and they swap. Nope, they don't swap. There's no dragon yet. There's no Drake for like 250 yet, so they just keep the lanes as they are. They're going to go back top, catch the lane, and probably try to push it out and swap into mid. I don't know what TSM's plan is here, because they basically have to wait for Hanser's ulti to be back up and then use it for tempo somewhere on the map. They're in a pretty dangerous position here where CLG has a lot of pressure topside and can really control this wave if they can beat the 2v2. I don't think... Okay, they made a mistake. This is lucky. This is lucky for TSM, bad for CLG. They get off of this wave here. So I think CLG should have really kept up the pressure here on this top wave. They need to force right here Tarek and Ezreal off of this wave if they win this 2v2. I don't know if they do because I don't know the matchup, but the fact that they cannot keep them off this wave and like push this in means they can't use the pressure here in the jungle to then force a dive onto the top lane turret, which is what they should be doing because they have control right now. They have tempo. If they have tempo, they should keep up the tempo. They shouldn't just exchange it for a pretend dive on mid. So here they're exchanging all of their tempo and all of their control on the map to try to dive mid or to get more deep vision that then amounts to nothing. Because now look, Ezreal and Tarek have already pushed the lane and they're literally just free now. So they're just walking into the river with Jax and they're able to clean out whatever vision CLG put here. Hanser's in a bit of trouble. Thank you, Hourglass. Okay. TSM collapse on the mid lane with that Herald, and they get into a fight. Oh, dear. Tarek ulti saves. Maybe it doesn't save anybody. Probably should not have stayed in that. Man, look at all these Hourglasses. Crazy. Jeez. I've never seen GP like TP into a fight like this and actually work. This is crazy. All right. So first of all, Biofrost headbutts Hanser away. I'm not sure that that's the best idea ever. GP is pretty non-functional if you keep his barrels out of a fight. And he doesn't have an ulti, right? So he's gonna like put it on a barrel. And he's gonna auto attack you, and then he's gonna put down another barrel, and then he might pop one or 50-50 chance lottery of GP. You might hit it first, and then he does nothing in the whole fight. TP's in and just dies. I think maybe that headbutt should have been against somebody else. I'm not going to analyze the fight because I think it's pretty clear that TSM has an advantage in terms of like team fighting and mechanics. Thanks to having Sven on the roster, and thanks to having Bjergsen on the roster. I think that Hanser is able to focus on kind of more things than Darshan. I think Darshan's decent in team fight, but he tunnels too much. I think Hanser is able to see a bit more. So I think that's also an advantage. I don't know about Mike. I don't know anything about Mike Young, but I'm pretty sure Rainover does not tunnel too hard. He probably has pretty good team fight awareness. Stixay's okay. He has the kind of thing you'd expect from an AD carry. He's able to team fight cleanly. All right, there was a flash in from Darshan. I think he could have done that with an ulti without flashing in. Is he going to die here finally? Okay. Probably should have used his ulti to slow him and run away. If he could have. All right, so TSM, I don't know what happened in the intermix because we had this stupid replay thing where they cover up the game. But anyway, we have now a AD carry and support mid lane. Galio sent top. This is to free up. Okay, I'm just going to go back here. Okay, he's trying to get the speed in order to escape, but it's not working. And, all right. Galio, it looks like, got the push and just walked mid. Galio got the push on top and just walked straight mid so that he could ult onto the dragon if he needed, and TSM and CLG just kind of gave it over. So this is the second Drake of the game. They gave up the first one. CLG gave up the second. They're putting Galio topside because Baron is up, and if Galio can get the push, he can just walk to... Man, Fiora's just... It's not even fair. She's just sitting in bushes and waiting for him to show up. Hanser's chain feeding here. Yeah, his like... There's a Fiora around sense is not turned on right now. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he just, like... You got to expect this when you play against Huhi. I mean, he does the same exact thing every game. It's not a surprise at all. It's a shame that TSM didn't have a timer on this back or this wave here. Let's see. Azrael clears the wave. GP is dead, so no help from him for the ulti. Jax has light river vision, and Azrael recalls right when the wave is showing up. This is a I think this is just a mistake. Just like, look at him ult right there. He's like, oh shoot, he finished his recall. I think that maybe they thought CLG was backing in the bush, but CLG didn't back. They just kind of like sat there and didn't do anything. And yeah, and then they got a ton of chip damage on the turret for free. So that was a boo-boo. Okay. Once again, CLG's back to their laning thing. So they drafted for these lanes. Sorry about the mouse there. They drafted for these lanes, and now they're back to having pressure on these lanes. And they have tempo even, or they had tempo. Let's see if they can get tempo off of mid. No, they can't. They have to give it up because some CLG collapsed. Okay, so Bjergsen is getting these amazing pressure roams where he's going in between the wave. Vladimir is backing down the lane because he doesn't have a turret. Bjergsen's going down the river because I think Jax is there. So, I don't know. It looks like Hanser just cleared some bot side jungle. Let me see. Yeah, good. Hanser's doing what I told him. Just clear the wave and then go clear Krugs. And then clear the wave and then go clear Raptors. Strip the jungle if you're losing so that you can't, you don't give it over to your opponent. Strip the jungle, strip the jungle. It's like the Civil War strategy, basically. You know, where you retreat but you burn everything behind you. Or maybe that's a Russian strategy, actually, World War II. Civil War strategy is when you're winning to go in and burn all the crops as you go. Anyway, the Russian strategy of retreating and burning everything behind you so that there's no resources for the opponent when they get there, for the enemy. I'll say enemy because it's war. All right, so CLG, once again, trying to take river control. They don't have any sweeps, so I'm not sure what they're doing. They didn't go in and sweep anything. They don't, like, both their sweeps are down. All right, TSM tries to fight them off mid lane, gets pressure over the wave, then they go back to topside river. And Jax has a sweep. Is he going to use it? I don't know. He's recalling. All right, back out on the map we go. They use the pressure they created with that mid lane gathering to back. Biofrost is staying out on the map. He's got a sweep. He's doing it solo. Whew. Risky. Oh no, Sejuani's there. Okay, sorry. I just saw Alice or Kalista coming back from base, and I thought, you know, this is being done without a Kalista ulti. Yes, obviously I'm waiting for an offer, but I have my price back set to my normal price, the same one that I've always charged. Oh my gosh, that was so close to killing Kalista. I can't believe that the Jax didn't die there. Right through the Counter-Strike. All right. Yeah, what normally happens, Robin SPI, is this is normally what happens. So teams come in at the beginning of the split and they offer a certain amount of money for coaching, and it's usually not enough for me to be away from my kids on the weekend. And I'm like, nope. And then about 4 to 6 weeks in, their entire team is burning down. Their players are like going on hunger strikes. They're 0-6, and their fans are like frothing at the mouth and like tearing down their headquarters. And then they call me and they're like, Weldon, okay, please come. And then I usually sell a lot of boot camps. So last year what I did was I took the lower offers in order to have a contract where I could have a place to stay, because I was working part-time at G2, so I could work full-time at my tech job in Germany. And so I was essentially like trading a lot of the cost of that position for housing and board, and because it was too depressing to live in Airbnbs. But I don't want to be away from on the weekends anymore, and I don't necessarily need the paltry cash, so I'm back to just doing my brand and waiting for teams to implode and then call me, which usually happens. We'll see. Or for that sweet head coaching gig. Exactly, Golden Guardian, Weldon incoming. Hey, dude, they just beat 100 Thieves. All right, so Mike Young attempts a jump here. I like to see this. Let me show you guys. This is mental health. So Mike Young knows he has an advantage. They have the push on the mid wave here, or they have the mid wave cleared, and this is like, you should be worried if you're a TSM fan. You should be worried if your jungler can't do this. You should be worried if your jungler starts not initiating, right? Initiating plays. And Mike Young's still able to do this, so stop with the Mike Young mental scarring kind of stuff that's going on. He looks like he's fine to me. He initiates this. He knows it's a 3v3, right? He sees the CLG jungler there. He sees his bot lane there. He knows he's going to get the jump and the stun. So he knows this is a 3v3, at the very least. We also happen to have GP ulti, so he's probably been prepped. Like, I can ulti somebody, you know? And Hanser is doing the really safe thing here, where he's not now chain dying to Hui. He has stopped being a dingbat. Now he's backing off of the wave and letting Hui get the push, waiting till he sees the Fiora and then clearing the minions in a safe spot. And in the meanwhile, he's stripping his own jungle of minions, so he's not falling too far behind the Vladimir. Or in fact, he's 20 CS up. So there you go. And I think that Mike Young knows that Bjergsen at the very least can just like walk over a little bit if the fight extends. So, yep, and there comes the kill on Sejuani. I don't think Reignover should have gone in there, but maybe they thought they could win the 3v3, even though they got jumped. Let's see. Why does Reignover go in? Probably because he... Okay. Yeah. Okay, he doesn't really go in. I mean, he's just there. Literally. Just insta-gibbed. Holy cow, that has a lot of damage. Reignover just got annihilated. What are her items? Man, she doesn't have anything yet. All right, that explains it. Just a Warmogs, like not even any armor. Well, I guess the tabbies, but okay. And 25 minutes with a tank, so they go straight Baron because of Galio, baby. Why is it hitting Mike Young? All right. So this is, they have a dead jungler, right? And so this means they're going to do a smite fight, and they should do a smite fight. They should stay on the Baron. They should have, they should actually have Bjergsen, I would have Bjergsen tanking the Baron, and I would have like Mike Young stunning somebody. But probably what they want to do is they want Bjergsen taunting away whoever's closest, so that they end up with a clean smite fight, which kind of makes sense. But I would still have Bjergsen taunt. I would still have him tanking it, and it would be nice. It would be nicer to have him tanking it and have Jax running interference a little bit, as long as he can stay close enough to the Baron to stay on it, to smite it, you know. All right, and that's the game. All right, that was easy. They got to pick on the jungle. They go in. Who's running interference here? Maybe Mithy should do it? No, Mithy needs to stay autoing the Baron. So there's no good answer here. Mithy needs to be autoing the Baron because his freaking Q is amazing with that. Mike Young needs to be near the Baron to smite it. Ezreal wants to keep DPS up on the Baron, and he doesn't have any push-away effect. Haunter can't push anybody away. Haunter should probably have set up barrels and be like, you know, outrunning interference on people, but I think they want to rush Baron down, so then he should be adding to the Baron. So really, Bjergsen has a taunt and no damage on the Baron. So it sucks that he's the only tank. Sucks hard. But I guess with Taric, you kind of have a tank in a way, because he can just heal up whoever's taking aggro. So, okay, fine. So Bjergsen's running interference. Maybe he should stay near the mouth and not try to... I guess he doesn't want Darshan to get the AoE effect. So he's like, if I can taunt him away. Okay, all this makes logical sense. Good plan, boys. Sven not be hitting the Alistar here. I think he should be hitting the Baron. And 9, 6, 4, 56. 456. What level is he? 13? All right, guys. What is the smite amount? Level 13 jungler smite damage. Smite. Leaguepedia. Is there a chart here? Level 13. 760. All right. So that was about 300 late. Looks like. Taric ulti. Okay. And Vladimir goes in and he ultis and he pools and he AoEs and Taric cancels his champion. Yeah, and then he hexes out. He's like, boing. Okay. Whoops. All right. So they're going to clear mid-wave. And what? They should have recalled already. I don't know what they're doing. They're going to take one turret. They're going to take 2 turrets. And then they're going to recall? Oh, Haunter went bot. Interesting. Okay, so they take mid inhib, and they redeploy to bot side for Dragon, I guess. Fast forward to that. Okay, they go straight to Dragon. I don't approve of this at all. I do not think that when you have a Baron buff that you should waste time doing neutral objectives on the way in. I think that you should take objectives that do not regrow, and then you take Dragon on the way out after you have applied all the pressure and you're in. Like, you can sometimes make an exception for Mountain Drake because you're about to go kill a turret, but only if the waves are literally you're waiting on waves. Like, you could get to this position and the jungler could solo it on his way through, on his way to you. You don't need to like delay your push. Anyway, they're sieging up here. They're pushing the Barons in. They're just 5-manning bot. What is the setup? Their Baron setup was 2-wave, right? They sent Galio to catch top. So they wanted to do... Oops. Okay, so they want to do 1-3-1 with Galio top. But Galio gives up the turret. He's like, okay, Fiora's here. So he's just going to leave. And they have to counteract this Fiora pressure by getting the wave in. They got to get threat onto the top side of the map in order to force Fiora to recall. Bjergsen just leaves, so they're going to do a... They're either going to do a 0-1-4 with Jax in the... Or actually a 0-1-3 with Jax in the middle, or they're just going to do a 0-0-5, looks like. But they have Galio, so Galio should just sit mid. I wish that they could get the push top. Like, I think TSM wanted Galio topside, but he couldn't prep the wave because Fiora was sitting there camping him. So they have this unfortunate situation where they have to use the mid wave for pressure here and then just ulti onto the bot wave. that leads to some hairiness because they can't split up CLG far enough to 100% provide a 5v4 no matter what. So it looks like they're just going to bank on their team fight. They're literally just going to 5-man siege. I'm not sure how smart that is when they have a Galio and an inhib down. But maybe it's fine because they have Baron. They just want to use it. You know, it's going to last like 30 seconds. Anyway, CLG doesn't seem like they can engage off of it, so they probably should have engaged there. I think CLG, this is the best chance they're going to get in terms of a 5-man fight. The lowest amount of disadvantage so far in the game. Okay. Now they redeploy to top side. They're clearing the jungle on the way out. Nobody's on the top wave. I don't know what Haunster's doing. Why is nobody prepping the top wave? What's going on? All right, they were just waiting for it to slow push. That's weird. Okay, anyway, now he goes to the top. Oh, I see. He is slow pushing it, actually. That's pretty funny. All right, so they're slow pushing top and stacking it. In the meanwhile, they're taking vision and securing pressure. And now Sven is fast pushing it. And here it comes. Because they don't have Baron anymore, so they wanted to slow push it. And stack one wave. All right, they get it in. There's literally no wave clear from CLG because they can't get Vlad onto the wave. So their only wave clear is like, oh man, this is embarrassing. What a horrible comp from CLG. They have no wave clear, and Kallista's like Hurricane is literally the only wave clear because they have no mid laner. They just get annihilated. Yeah, this isn't really a fair game to review because once CLG's in this position, there's legit nothing they can do. They had wave pressure. CLG had wave pressure 2 really key times in the map, and that's when they needed to win. Was off of that, and then they didn't use their pressure, which they drafted for as their win condition to win the game. So they lose because they have a crappy comp. Good game, guys. All right. This is amazing. This is the fastest I've ever finished a VOD review in. And that means that I actually have time to get to the gym. If I go right now, I get to get there by 5:30. And you guys are going to watch me on my Instagram story. Today is chest day. So if you haven't been following my gym antics on Snapchat and Instagram, I started going to the gym mid-summer last year again. So I took like a 3-year break when I was building up my League of Legends coaching career, I guess you would say. And I spent all of my nights and mornings basically working on my small business. So I didn't get to go to the gym that much. But then I had this health crisis last summer, and I was on a flight with a bunch of bodybuilders, and I was just like, what am I doing in my life? So I started going to the gym again, going now 6 days a week if I can, and doing push-pull legs, basically. Is 80 carry Ari still viable? What? Sorry. This is what's in my chat right now. I'm not sure it was ever viable. But anyway, everything is viable. Fine. So anyway, I Snapchat my story. My Snapchat and my Instagram basically are both fitness brands, essentially. I Snapchat when I'm at the gym. That's when I answer chats. That's when I answer stories. So if you want to chat me there, Instagram DM and Snapchats are the way to go. I have both of them kind of open messaging so that you can ask questions that you like. That's when I have a chance to respond to them. My Snapchat questions are kind of building up right now, so maybe I'll be able to dig into them today. And in the meanwhile, I would like to promote also my training program because this is the thing that I am now relying on as a way to kind of support this channel and this brand. It is the training program that I basically did in person with the pro teams, with TSM and with CLG, and a little bit with G2. And it's based on the idea of building up your mental resilience for performance purposes. And I use esport as the performance vector. Maybe you are a student who's performing. Maybe you are a public speaker. Maybe you're a manager. Maybe you're also doing esport. Maybe you're doing a sport. Regardless, the context of this program is esport, but the functionality of it is for performance, human performance. In fact, the book, which I have around here somewhere, It's like the psychology of human performance or something like that, which was published in 2004, bringing these concepts from the traditional therapy world for the first time to sports psychology. And then I discovered this transfer back in 2012 when I graduated, and I kind of like all-ined on the idea of mindfulness. It's been very effective. So I made this video training program. It's about 49 videos, 7 per day for 7 weeks. So if you do it full on, full bore, 1.5 months. If you do it spaced out a little bit, it takes about 3 months to complete. And it's essentially like a lecture and then a mindfulness training and then a lecture. 15 to 25 minutes a day, daily, and that's it. It's missing a few little pieces here and there, like worksheets. Those are not really essential. They're just kind of things that I'd structured around. But I lost them in the second version when the second website crashed. This is the third version. It's even better than the first one or the second one, minus a few missing worksheets. I'm working on the fourth one right now, which is actually an app. And like I said before, when you buy it, you're grandfathered in, of course, to all future versions, as the last two versions have been into this one. So yeah, this is my Mac program. And thank you guys for the attention. Thank you, Mirak, for the sub. And thank you, I'm trying to scroll up. Come on, Twitch chat, scroll. There. Thank you, the Big Boss AM, for the subs today. Really excited to get to 24 subs. I was at 25, and I lost 2 somehow. But anyway, we're back in business, and I'll see you all at the gym. Saying goodbye with 18 viewers on the line, that seems criminal, but what can I do? Love y'all. Ciao. Oh, there's my Snapchat.